Welcome to the top 20 video game music exploration themes. Thanks for all your contributions on our Discord. Thanks Lena for putting the playlist together. This is Final Fantasy IX, Crossing Those Hills. A great theme, very soft, very beautiful, very reaching, very sentimental. It's a gorgeous game that I think really reflects, a gorgeous theme that reflects well on the themes of the game, how it was made as more of a nostalgic throwback. Just a fantastic, bloody theme. Good God, what a good send-off to Final Fantasy on the PlayStation as well. A naive new world sound with a launch with a touch of purpose driving it. Yeah. It's got a percussive drive, but it couldn't be softer. It's like you could be pushing a baby stroller to this, over those hills. Not even mountains, just some little hills. What's over that hill? Alright, first up on our big list. Thank you very much, Final Fantasy IX and Nobuo Uematsu. You're the greatest. This first theme is also from Final Fantasy. This is from Final Fantasy 15. That was Wanderlust from Final Fantasy 15 from Yoko Shimura and another fella. It's a good track. It does have a really sort of, starts off in this part, sort of like the A and the C section are a little more subdued, a little more laid back. Kind of fun, sort of casual. There's an element that sounds more sinister in the B section that comes in, as if you're going towards a problem or antagonist. But it still has a real confident swagger to it, which is pretty fitting, I think, for Final Fantasy 15, because you have, for the most part, pretty confident group of guys, and what they may have as their insecurities separately, together, they're very confident. You know that the group, as long as they're together, is going to get everything done. Going to finish this game. They're going to eat together. They're going to sleep together. They're going to go blind together. And they're going to win. Great track. Never heard it, so really fantastic to highlight that in this episode. All right, next up is from Wild Arms 3. Let's run around. Let's look over there. Wow. It has a Western vibe, but it sounds like a Western being played through the lens of a Japanese RPG video game composer. And I love what they're doing on that like pan flute, would you call that? And sort of that sort of Asian sound. It's like using a lot of these Asian instruments played on a keyboard, which means you can kind of shred on them a lot more than somebody would actually be able to do on like this thing. It's like I don't think you can play a pan flute that fast, right? So it's a really nice, it's a nice sound that you can only really get in this situation. Pretty great. Got a nice drone, a lot of tension. Like a lot of video game music, there's an element of sinisterness underneath it. There's a problem you're going towards, but there's this kind of kick-ass swagger of like, we can do this, we can get this done. Fantastic. Thank you very much. Next up is Vast Pony Canyon from Pokemon Sun and Moon. Oh, similar. That is fantastic. That brings up a lot of the elements of the best early Sonic the Hedgehog soundtracks. Fun, funky, bouncy, driven, dramatic. Like expert playing, expert arranging. Just a truly inspired track. Is there more Pokemon music like this? I didn't realize it got so like jazz fusion-y, so ambitious. I thought it was a little more laid back. D-tag and tag. How you doing, buddy? Man, what a killer track. It's sort of like Michael Jackson and Stevie Wonder put together. Oh, that's banging. I gotta add that to a separate playlist. Oh, I can't stop listening to it. Okay, now I can. Next up is, oh God, are you ready for this? After all that partying, it's time to chill out. Stevie Jackson. Time to break it down now and explore the vastness of the Mass Effect galaxy. Great piece from a great soundtrack from a great franchise. A little more fluty and mystical in this piece, where it starts off with this sort of, you got this repeating pattern that to me kind of sounds like the beeps and boops of a sci-fi ship, but a little more mature, and also a kind of a low hum. I love that, almost like the hum, like the low hum bass from a ship engine. Little elements kind of fading in and fading out as if, like stars swirling around. Gives you a genuine curiosity where a lot of the missions in Mass Effect can be mysteries, like mistresses. I think it perfectly suits somebody flying across the galaxy trying to solve something. Fantastic track. Next up is Subnautica. Tropical Eden. I don't think I've heard anything from Subnautica. kind of surprise. What a great surprise when it builds up and drops into that super swaggery beat. Really great, great piece. Like Prince says, Eastern cyberpunk, Mirror's Edge, a lot of backwards use, wind chimes. It does sound like the organic nature aspect of Eastern culture, but then forced into the future, where everything is now glass or metal and technology, smooth glass surfaces. And I guess underwater, it being reflecting the light on the water. Works really, really, really well. Awesome. Subnautica, Tropical Eden. The vibraphone and chimes give it a childlike innocence over the top of the more subversive, deeper tone. Very cool. Kind of like the small fish on the top and then the big, scary ones deeper below. This next one is called From Dusk to Sunrise, from Kingdom Come Deliverance. Yeah, I think the point of the track is to have probably the transformation from night to morning. So there's a lot of tension implied within most of this track. It starts off promising, sort of like the night is ending, sun is rising. What is it? Is this called From Dusk Till Dawn or something? What is this called? From Dusk to Sunrise. So yeah, it makes sense to sort of go through the trials of night and then just build, and sort of a like, it's darkest. It's always darkest until it's dawn kind of thing. And then finally have that relief of sunrise at the end. So a pretty interesting track. Slightly challenging in listening, but I think would perfectly score the transition from night to sunrise. Nice track. Kingdom Come Deliverance. Castlevania Harmony of Despair. Hail from the past. We're hearing a lot of this instrument in our exploration themes today. Yeah, not what you'd normally expect out of Castlevania. A lot of... I don't know where that's from, like Moroccan, Indian, Arabic instruments and scale use. There's a slight reggaeton beat with a 4 on the floor dancing, and then there's a small instrument that gives it the like boom, cha, boom, cha, boom, cha, boom, cha. Really cool track. Has that Castlevania heartbeat underneath it, but slightly different. Well, actually, a lot different than what you normally hear. That was really nice. Next up, a Prince track, Spectrobes, the Nanairo System. Pretty interesting track on the DS. Got a very nostalgic sound to it, like it would be something on Game Boy Advanced. This was Disney's attempt at doing Pokemon, but with space archaeology. It's got I like the heavy, almost industrial drums, the crystally fun melodies, the little big band in there. Super catchy, super fun, super bouncy, super soaring. Definitely sounds like you're playing a little adventure, a big adventure on a little tiny system that you can just put in your pocket when you're done. Nothing too serious, but really fun when you're in there. Watch out for this guy's Spectrobe. He wants to probe somebody with that. Next up is Threads of Fate, Passing Through the Forest. What I like about this is that it's got the of a dance beat, but it doesn't have the 4 on the floor. It has this really slippery, like a marching band, kind of glitchy, slipping and sliding beat underneath it. The layers are so great. And the bridge has really interesting chords. Super fusion, and it just twists your mind up. It's really, really nice. This is a very mature composition. But done in a super cutesy way, with so much beef behind it. A lot of beef. Next up, Kingdom Hearts 3, Kingdom of Corona, field theme. I feel like this is probably one of the few times the composer will have an idea of like, oh, okay, so I don't have to score what happens when vampires come back from the third dimension as computers. Just exploration. Got it. What a beautiful piece. The way, this is Yoko Shimomura, I imagine. The way she can use an orchestra to make these like childish, fun, in the best way, I mean. These little melodies that are so, they feel so simple, but are pretty complex, and are so moving, the way that the strings come in. And just like take you on such a beautiful ride. And oh, there's so much emotion and feeling. I feel like this is perfect for her because it's a simple concept, make a field theme, and it lets her be quite creative. And the use of, like, she's just such a master of using an orchestra. And it's like such, her melodies never get lost in the size of the orchestra. She's so great at arranging them and picking spots for everything. But it was an interesting point about what Juan Lich was saying, how you can feel the wide open space above and around. Like in my mind's eye, she sort of left a lot of the center channel open, empty, as if everything is happening around you, which is a really interesting production choice. Fucking gorgeous. Wow. Next up, Stellaris soundtrack, Faster Than Light. I'm ready. Pretty strange. I was not expecting the vocal at all. Just when you think you're alone in space, the space angel comes up outside your porthole. Interesting track. I couldn't imagine when this is playing in a space game. While you're exploring, I guess? These are either turn-based or real-time 4X games. Odd. Completely unexpected. Pretty nice, though. Next up, welcome to Redacted. It's nice to have the context of this one of exploring a laboratory where they were experimenting on sentient corn, because it has a very dark, empty, distant, technological, but like dark technology feel to it. Almost like Metroid, but more organic, more life. Really nice track. Thanks, Prince. Next up, Eternal Wind. Speaking of windy synths, Final Fantasy III, the 3D remake. More of this instrument. That is a really heavy melody. And even though this remix has tried to soften everything up by taking out all the percussion and giving it steel drums to make it sound a bit more tropical, a little soft, a little more casual, when that melody first kicks in for the B section coming up here, it's undeniable how strong that melody is and then the emotion that it evokes. to Final Fantasy III. Next up, Fendana Drifts, Metroid Prime. I feel like we've been working our way towards the Metroid Prime sound this whole time, and here it is. I always forget that there's piano in the Metroid Prime soundtrack, and it really adds a little bit of life and familiarity which works well, because the piano's sort of like Samus. It's very versatile, it can range from very low to very, very high, and it's an instrument from Earth that we understand. And every other instrument here is synthetic, glitchy, dripping. The effects and the atmosphere that it puts you in, like Prince says, is something that is wet but not filled with water. Like you can feel the notes kind of dripping off the walls with wetness and humidity and damp. Some sort of alien swamp that you're familiar with slightly but have never encountered before, and is there in a totally different way. Great track. Next up, Star Ocean, The Last Hope, Silk Road in the Sky. More flute, wood flute. Silk Road in the Sky. Oh, it's getting dramatic. Silk Road in the Sky. This has a heaviness and an airiness to it all at the same time. Sounds very kind of royal, regal, epic, unrelenting, but with a feel that it's going to be okay. Wow, like some huge revelations are happening in this track. Fantastic. And that instrument keeps popping up. Next up is the track you thought was going to be playing now, In the Doldrums, 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim. Job. What a nice track. Kind of watery. Kind of reminds me of something that could be in Zelda. In Zora's Domain. Bergspitzel. Like Prince says, calm, yet upbeat. Fun, positive, bouncy. Really grounded. Kind of sounds like it's got these two halves. It's like cool, low, glitchy, bouncing, almost like Super Mario Underground bass synth on the bottom. And then these fun little glitchies. It's like a yin and yang playing on the same synthesizer. Oh, beautiful. I love the bass work in this track. Oof, just rolls around. Yeah. That's friggin' nice. Great track. Next up, Tactics Ogre. Let us cling together, PSP. regal, dark, ogreish, I guess. Pretty intense. More like a title screen? Yeah, this is more of like an introduction to what lies beyond, as opposed to spending hours exploring. Maybe making a big decision on a map about where you're going to send your ogres and what tactics you're going to use. Next up, Darkened Sky, with an E. Lenora, second visit in Sky Pirates Camp. Prince track. Super fun percussion, shredding on those Arabian bagpipes, great layering, really fun. This sounds good loud. Exploring something in Marrakesh. A man in a hood beckons you into an alley. You say, I don't want to buy any camel haggis. He says, you'll regret that. Come deeper and have a see, have a look-see. You don't sound very Arabic. I'm not. My parents moved here when I was very young. They were eaten by a camel. Next up is The Herbs. Sims in the City. Oh boy. Yeah, I don't know how this sounds like anyone being in any city. It is more like who said that, Horky? Bayou. Kind of weird down-home mix of synth banjo. I don't know what a lot of these instruments are doing here. That sounds like somebody pressed Demo 7 on a keyboard. Here's what your new Casio keyboard can do. Very odd track. That sounds very Japanese, of like, just put together some things that make you think of Americans. It'll be great. Weird. Next up, we've only got a few more. Oh, this actually was the Bayou. Oh, interesting. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. The track was literally called Bayou. Okay. Next up, .hack//g.u. Field Evening. Oh, synth guitar. Yeah, I'd say another track maybe inspired by what Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross have done. Fun sort of galloping. I feel like I'm rolling down a hill in late summer in Japan while the villagers stare. Look at the big white man rolling down the hill. Nice. Very nice. Not too obnoxious. You could listen to this theme quite a bit while exploring. It does sound like you're walking into a bunch of spiky-haired anime characters in a field, though. And they're telling you, "What? I haven't heard anything, but there is a big mana beast around that corner." Next up, we got 2 more tracks here, babies. Actually, nope, 1 more. Heroes of Might and Magic 4. Dirt theme. Are you excited to hear a theme about dirt? Dirt, is that you? Dirt by Heroes of Might and Magic. At first I thought, I don't understand how this is going to be any kind of dirt theme. But then when I think about it, it does kind of sound like an old wagon with a big wooden wheel slowly rolling through the dirt. It does have an on the ground feel, as if you're really low on the ground looking up at the dirt, like if you were an ant or something going over a hill. I don't think ants have this much imagination in them though. It's a nice track. It's kind of a down-home wagon farming sort of peasant. If I think about a world where there are heroes of might and magic, this is a more magical, fantastical idea of what dirt would be. Alright. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you for checking out our top 20 video game exploration themes. Next week will be cyberpunk themes to celebrate the release of Cyberpunk 2020, which will come out with bugs. Other themes coming up will be office music, somehow, and more elements like fire, dirt, steampunk. Bye for now on YouTube.